Hey guys, welcome to our September market update. Today we're going to get in and talk through the summer selling months of June, July, and August. And we're going to touch on the items that are on the screen here, which are rising interest rates, the increasing inventory that we're seeing, and then we're going to touch a little bit on our market predictions. So let's jump right in. So rising interest rates are probably the biggest deal that we've seen this year. And this whole year has been kind of like a roller coaster, especially once we hit like mid-year. So what you can see here is where we started and where we're at right now. And our peak point was on June 23rd when interest rates got up to 5.81%. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what that actually did to our market. But obviously that's a little bit of a challenge as interest rates are, they're not quite double, but they're getting up pretty high compared to where they were at the beginning of the year. And obviously that is going to make a difference. Let's look at the median sales price in the Woodlands. So we're focusing mostly on the Woodlands today, but all of our properties in Houston, they're trending the same way. And so what we're seeing for median sales prices in June, July, and August is that number's held relatively steady throughout the summer, which is a really good thing, especially with the interest rates going up. That tells us that buyers are still paying for houses that are out there on the market. If we compare that to 2021, our median sales prices, that's a huge increase over year compared to what we saw last year. And what we see is June was a 16% year over year increase. July was 18.6% year over year. And then August is a whopping 29.8% increase over where we were last year. So guys, if you bought a house in 2021, you guys are in great shape if it's time to sell, if you guys wanted to do that. But either way, we want our properties to increase in value. And as far as what this looks like right now, we are sitting pretty here in the Woodlands. Going back and looking at historical data, we're going to look at active listings versus sold listings. And so what we're looking at here in 2020, the COVID year, is active listings are the orange line and the number of sales is the blue line here. Now, the closer that these lines get together, the higher the sales price is going to go because supply and demand kicks in. Okay, so here's 2021, which was pretty crazy. But if you look at this, though, the buyers and the sellers, the buyers and the number of listings, they follow the same pattern. Okay, moving forward to 2022, what we're seeing is that starting in around June, the listings started outnumbering the buyers, and that's where we're seeing an increase in inventory. And so if we look at this again, remember June 23rd was where we peaked our interest rate at 5.81%, and that's about right here, which is where we're seeing the listings outnumber the number of buyers that are out there. And I'm going to back this up real quick to go back to 2020 just so we can look at the overall numbers. Look at where we started in January of 2020. We were at 500 active listings, and then we got a little bit above 600, and then this was like a roller coaster going down because all of these listings started getting absorbed. There were people that just decided not to sell, because of COVID or whatever. And so we saw a huge decrease here. But the important thing to remember is we're at 600 listings here at the high point of 2020. 2021, our chart doesn't even go above 300. And then 2022, we're below 250. And so what we're seeing is that, yes, the months of inventory, the numbers kind of work out where they hold the same from last year to this year as far as months of inventory go. But the actual activity is slightly lower this year than it was last year all across the market in not only our area, but also across Houston, which is interesting. So moving forward to inventory levels, these are current inventory levels. And right now in the Woodlands, under 1 million, we're sitting at just under a month worth of inventory. And that's if we go back and calculate an absorption rate over the last 12 months. Now, if we go over 1 million, our months of inventory goes up a little bit, and that's to 2.37 months, which is still a good number. But the reason is, of course, over 1 million, the higher you get in price, the smaller your buyer pool gets. And so we're seeing is that anything over 1 million is sitting longer than anything that's under 1 million, and that's consistent for all over Houston. The hot point for the month of July to August is the $500 to $1 million range, and so that's where we're seeing the most activity and the most growth as well. If we put all properties together in the Woodlands, we're sitting at 1.14 months of inventory, and just so you know what months of inventory is that's how long it would take to clear out all of our current inventory, our houses that are currently actively listed on the market, if no new listings come on the market. Looking at our inventory levels for the month of August, if we look back at August 2021, we had 201 active listings. In August 22, we were at 216. So we're at about the same number, slightly bigger here. Now, it's really interesting. If you look at the number of sold listings, which tells us the number of buyers that are out there, our August of 2021 listings or solds were at 246, and this year they were at 139. So that's a significant decrease in the number of sold listings that are out there. Another number to pay attention to here is the days on market, and this is a slight change, up from 7 to 11, and it's such a small change and it's such a small sample size that I'm not really sure what this means yet. But what we're seeing is we're trending a little bit longer days on market, and that has to do with the amount of inventory that we have versus the amount of buyers, and this is calculated off of the sold listings. Okay. So what are we seeing? So in real life, when we get out there, boots on the ground situation, what we're seeing is that our buyers right now, because of the increased inventory, and we're seeing that our buyers have more options. So we're seeing that they get out and we're able to go see 4, 5, 6 properties with buyers. And then they've got time to like kind of take a breath and figure out which one of those that they want to make an offer on, if any of them at all. Compared to what we've been going through the last 18 to 24 months, that is a sigh of relief where we can just kind of relax with buyers, and buyers can get out there and make a very, very healthy decision on where they want to go. Now, the other thing that we're seeing is kind of the flip side of that. If your home is really nice and you have it listed and it's done really well, it's maintained, and it's attractive, that home is still selling really, really fast. And so really there's good opportunities for sellers and buyers right now, especially if your home is nice. But what we're seeing with the listings is that you're not able to get away with as much as you could a year ago. So you're going to need to get in and do things like paint, change some carpet out, and really, really make sure that the house is in pristine condition if you want to do things like attract buyers very quickly and end up in a multiple offer situation, which ends up pushing your sales price up. So let's talk about market predictions. And I don't have any really good ones because I don't know about you, but I am not a future teller. And so what I wanted to tell you guys about market predictions right now is just be aware and be very careful of who you are paying attention to that's out there and what they're saying. Just remember that anybody that writes articles and puts out videos, they are trying to get clicks to their website. And so you have the pundits that are out there that are everybody's just throwing stuff out there to see what sticks to the wall. And those pundits' goal, their goal is to be the one that's right, so that when there's another prediction that's made, they can say, oh, this is the guy that said that this was going to happen in 2022 and he was right. So I feel like they're throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks. So just filter through the noise, be very careful about what you're reading and what you're listening to. Also remember that most of those people that are writing those articles that you see, like in Bloomberg and Fox and like the big national chains, the guys, those are national numbers that they're looking at. So that's a very macro environment. So if you want to know what's really happening in our area, give us a call and we can talk through and show you guys graphs and charts and data and just tell you what we're experiencing with our buyers, with our actual boots on the ground. And that really, guys, is what's going to help you make the best decision on whether it's a good time to make a move in the real estate market right now. So give us a call. You guys know how to reach us. And thanks for paying attention all the way to the end, and looking forward to talking with you. And we'll see you next month. Thanks.